on my computer. Cool.
I think I've done it to my computer.
Okay. All right, you guys. So I'm super excited because tonight we have my friend Suzanna. She's going to be speaking to you guys and sharing about her experiences with this business, and I'm going to be interviewing her. So Susanna, we're super excited to have you. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So I think what we'll first start with is your story. If you can share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So if you don't know me, my name is Suzanna. I'm 21. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and I started my business on February 28th of this year. So I'm coming up on 9 months. I'm really, really excited. Literally, like I could have had a kid in the time that I've been in this business, which is insane to me. So when I joined 9 months ago, I was working 2 jobs. I was lifeguarding and working at a preschool on top of taking like 18 credit hours at my school, and I was student teaching 1 day a week. So I was like crazy busy. I was also like the most negative person in the world, but I just knew that I needed to do something for myself. So I was like scrolling through my Instagram one day, came across this girl's profile, literally had no idea who she was, saw her posting about this business, and messaged her, joined on the spot. It was when the $20 codes were around, and I was like, we're doing this thing. Signed my first customer that day, and then I was charted for my first promotion within my first full month, which was absolutely insane to me. But after that, I kind of had a slow start. So in the month of June, I basically gave up on my business. I didn't enroll from like the 20th of May until like the 21st of June. And then on that 21st of June, when I enrolled my fourth distributor, she kind of put a fire in my belly. She quit 3 hours later, and so that's not really what you would think normally puts a fire in your belly, but just knowing that I could do that again, and I was so desperate for a fast start. I fast started her the next day when I hadn't enrolled in over a month, and just kind of continued running from there. Then at the end of July, I promoted to exec and then hit Ruby last month. So it's been a wild ride.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I can't believe I didn't realize you've been in for 9 months. So that's
Yeah.
literally amazing. Like 3/4 of a year. So congratulations on that. I'm so thankful to have met you because of this business. And I love your story too, because you kind of like shared like where you started from, like how it kind of goes up and down throughout your journey as well. I know that you have a pretty crazy schedule, and you kind of just talked about that too. So I kind of want to ask you, how do you work your business with school work and everything? How do you fit it into your daily life?
Yeah, so if you don't know me, I student teach full time, which means I'm at my elementary school. I'm in third grade every single day for like 50 hours a week, and I don't get paid for it. So this business, since like the end of July was the last time I clocked in at the preschool. This business has been paying my rent and my utilities and everything else for the last 4 months. But yeah, it's a lot to work this on a busy schedule, but it comes down so much to being super intentional with your time. So like I know when I am teaching, I can't be on my phone from like 7:30 until 11:15 when I have my lunch break, and then from 11:40 until 3 whatever when I get out of school. So I know that like 25-minute break for lunch, I'm responding to people or I'm posting on my story, just making sure that I'm staying active and being super intentional with my time. And then I actually, I didn't discover this, like kind of get this figured out until halfway through the semester, but I started setting reminders on my phone. So like every day at 4 o'clock, I have a reminder that's like unfollow, or a reminder that's like follow on this account, because I know it's super easy when you've had a long day to not want to work anymore. But making sure I'm super intentional with my time, and then also like finding the joy and the freedom that this business brings. So like knowing, okay, I've had a super, super long, exhausting day. Like maybe the kids like pushed me to my edge. Maybe my mentor teacher was super annoying, but now I get to come home and do something that I love doing and hang out with amazing people and like really focus on pouring into my girls and pouring into my business and myself. And so like finding the beauty in that, and then also being super intentional with your time, has helped me a lot.
I forgot to unmute myself. That's awesome. I also use the reminders app, and yeah, I work this full time now, but that wasn't always the case. If you guys don't know my story, if you're not on my team, when I started, I worked at the animal hospital 40, 50-hour weeks, and I was with patients all day long. I also commuted 2 hours daily. So I was like definition of could not be on my phone for like 12 hours a day. But you bet your butt I was on it in the morning before work, quickly did some stuff when I got to work in the parking lot, bathroom break, lunch break, when I got off of work, when I was in the gym, and then I would stay up extra time because I was like, I just need to fit in this stuff and I know it'll pay off later. And like, I personally have not worked with children. So I have nannied, so I know they're exhausting and you have to like watch them and, you know, and like, so that definitely is not something that you can like, but like, oh, I can check my phone for 2 seconds. So like, you definitely can't do that at all. Cause they're always watching you too. You gotta be a good example. So, but that's crazy. How do you go about like planning each day? Do you have like a certain like 6 list or like tasks you go through
so I do have a 6 list, and my 6 list has kind of changed since I started my business versus where it is now, because I sucked at self-development when I started my business, so I've got a lot of more of that in my 6 list now. And then also I do a lot more unsend resend, so I've got that as part of my 6 list. So I read a chapter of whatever book I'm reading or watch a YouTube like self-development training or business training. I journal. I post on my feed and stories. I send 50 new messages. I strive to send 50 new messages. All my accounts. Doesn't always happen. It depends on how my following is. But I strive for 50 new messages on all of my accounts. I unsend, resend 200 on every account, and then follow and unfollow on all of my accounts. So that's kind of my 6 list where it's at right now. And I actually, since I'm full-time for like the next 5 weeks while my school's on break, I like printed it out and put it in a sheet protector. That way I can like mark it off every day, because I just knew that I'm gonna have to like change my organization a little bit.
I love that. And way like be proactive too, because I'm sure because you're like, I gotta get stuff done, but also so much time to do things. And you would think you have so much time on your hands. You're like, oh, I can get so much done. No, because then the laziness sucks in. You get distracted with other things, and like, or you get pulled into something else, and you know it happens. I think I got way more done when I had a busy schedule, like hands down, like no
For
joke.
sure.
Because I knew how to multitask and utilize my time, and you really learn how to utilize bathroom breaks for sure.
Yeah, that 25-minute lunch break, like I'm not eating anything till the last 3 minutes. I'm literally staring at my phone, and everyone in the lunchroom is probably like, is Miss Liner okay? But
you pre-plan posts or anything like
so I don't explicitly plan my feed posts, because I'm just honestly, I'm super in the moment with that. But I do know, this is something I've been working on with my team a lot too, is being super intentional about like what my goals are for the week. So if I know that I'm trying to fast start someone, I'm going to have a specific LC post in mind, or I know maybe there's one that worked for me in the past. Maybe I'll change my pictures for it, but keep the same wording or something. And then also, if I'm like trying to sign distributors, I'm making sure that I've got like my post kind of figured out for what I'm putting on my stories and stuff, because you want whatever you're putting on your stories and feed to match what you're trying to sign up.
Yeah, exactly. And so do you set daily goals when you like journal and stuff like that?
Not necessarily. I kind of have the same goals every day. They don't really shift much. It's normally 2 to 3 LCs and a distributor. But I do set goals for like, if I know that I'm posting a specific post. So like yesterday I posted a skinny coffee post, and I was like, I'm signing all skinny coffee posts the next 48 hours. Like it's just going to be skinny coffee. And so far it's just been skinny coffee. So, I mean, just kind of putting that out there and like talking about it a lot. So like when I'm messaging my girls, I'm like, I'm posting this because I'm going to be signing so much of this.
That's awesome. And I like, you're literally like so focused. Like you're like, I'm posting this. I'm intentionally posting like these stories or this type of posts, and these are the customers I'm going to get. And then you're attracting those immediately to your business. And like you have been signing customers, because I know you share your enrollments with us.
Yeah.
But, that's like awesome that like how intentional you are. And I know like for me, that's what I do. And like I I set goals daily or have the same general amount of goals every day. Like mine's typically, 200 to 300 in volume, and then a distributor.
Yeah.
Or to help my distributor like earn their shopping spree, or,
Hmm.
etc., or fast start somebody. Because like that's just something that I'm so focused on every single day. So I know I need to be sharing about the products and sharing about the opportunity and sharing like a life post, or um fast starts are leadership bonuses, Aurora. So when you enroll a new teammate, and they get you coach them or help them get their first 4 loyal customers, um, they get their shopping spree, and you get a leadership bonus, and it's $100, which are super awesome. I love those, and those are paid out weekly. Um, so for kind of like backtrack, when you first got started, what did your family and your friends think? Were they supportive, or anything you'd like to touch on that?
So yes and no. They were both supportive and not supportive. So my mom, when I first joined, well, first of all, I didn't tell anyone I was even thinking about doing it until after I'd already done it. And I like waited a couple hours to tell my mom because I was like, I just got to get this done. I don't need anyone to talk me out of this right now. Like I got to focus. So when I told my mom, she was not supportive, but she definitely, I mean, from the beginning even till now, has seen it more as a hobby, kind of like if I'm maybe feeling like stressed about something in the business, like I know that I need this volume and I'm like really pushing for it. She's like, well, if it gets too stressful, like that's when you're not having fun anymore. Like that's when you need to leave. And I'm like, this is paying all my bills. But my mom has been pretty supportive. My friends have been pretty supportive. My first customer was actually one of my friends, but I feel like I guilt tripped her into doing it. And it was just a keto energy. So literally like the easiest sale in the world.
Mhm.
Um, but they also would like kind of whisper about it in the background or be like, okay, but does it like actually work? Like, are you actually like in a scam? And my cousin on my very first day messaged me as soon as I did my first post and was like, I hope you get out of this. Like, this is a pyramid scheme. You're selling rat poison, like full-fledged. But then since then, they've seen me be super consistent with it, and like they're some of my biggest hype people now. I know that they'll never understand what the heck I do, but just knowing that I can like kind of be more open about it around them is like a nice feeling.
Yeah. And I feel like I hear that a lot too. And like for me personally, like when I got started, like I like messaged my parents, like at part of my 30s list, right?
Yeah,
And no one responded. And then my dad texted me, he goes, so like you need to call and get your money back. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I don't know what you did. He's like, I don't know why you would do that. And I was like, well, I'm going to make money. So yeah, I was like, I'm just going to make back my investment. And he was like, okay. 5 days later, and they had Christmas cash at the time. So I earned I earned $100 in Christmas cash and my shopping spree in 5 days.
it's awesome.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to keep going. And then he was like, okay, cool. And then I tripled that my first month. And then I just kept going. And then I think it wasn't until once he started seeing all the fast starts rolling in every month, because since my second month in, I was averaging like 500 in fast starts. He
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is nice. Like, because I was working full time too. So it was like, adding up over time. And then when I hit diamond, I think that really like was like, holy crap. And then when I hit double and my mom hit diamond, he was like, holy crap. And my parents are like some of my biggest supporters now. And at first they were like, I don't know about this, and like it just took them a little bit of time. And like my mom, both my parents are on my team. My dad is a ruby and my mom is a diamond, and they both order products. They've used products, they talk about the business with their coworkers and their friends, and like before they're just like, oh, it's just like doing this hobby thing online, and now it's like this is my full-time job, my full-time income, and I help them pay for stuff too.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because literally the other day my dad was like, it was really nice. He was like, I was able to use my commissions card at the store, and I was like, oh, that meant so much to me, because I was like, like an extra couple hundred to help out my parents. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but like I can at least give back to them because
Like
they
a
have
month of
to pay for
groceries.
college. Yeah, I can help pay for, groceries and everything. So like I was like, wow, I was like, thanks for saying something like that, because it was just like the growth over the last 2 years in their support is totally different. So,
Yeah.
and I know for me, I've talked to a lot of new distributors, and they're like, my friends said this, or my parents are like, what are you doing? And they're not that supportive. Like, it gets better, I promise you. A lot of people have an initial reaction, but it's because they aren't familiar with it, so it makes them hesitant or scared. And once they are fully educated, and if you're excited about something, like, it gets better. And like we are all like proof of that. Like, I've been in for 2 years, you've been in for 9 months. Cassie, you've been in for like almost 2 years. How long have you been in? Almost two? Yeah, cool. I have girls on my team that have been in for 6, 8, over a year, and like everyone's journey has improved. Sasha's been in for like 4.
Yeah.
May's been in
Sasha's
for
mom
like
used to like tell her to stop posting. So
exactly. Sasha's when she first joined, her mom's like, you're embarrassing me, like, please stop. Like, that's just insane. And now, like, Sasha's presidential,
yeah.
like totally different time span. So that's awesome. And like, I'm sure like a lot of people can relate with that. And hopefully that your story, I mean, I can relate to it because, but hopefully someone else can relate to it too. Alrighty. So what do you do for your self-development every day? I know you mentioned journaling. Have you always been doing that, or is that something new, or?
So I fought self-development so hard. When I joined, I think I said this, I was like literally the most negative person on earth. Like, I don't think, like, I wasn't like rude or like one of those people that was like, someone would tell me to do something, I'd be like, oh no, I'm better than that. But like, I used mental health as an excuse. I was like, oh, like, I'm just having a depressed day. Like, I'm not gonna even look at my phone, which like that was happening, but like I wasn't actively doing anything to fix it. So then I took a super hard look at my life. Towards, I think it was like maybe the beginning of April, I had like not responded to Sasha in like 3 days, and she literally was like, Susanna, what the heck is going on? Because I've been like kind of like a little bit of a rocket up until that point, constantly blowing her phone up and stuff. And I was like, oh, like it's just like a mental health weekend. She was like, oh no, that's not what we do around here. Like, you can have that go on, but like you got to figure out how to manage it. And so I was like, oh yeah, she's kind of right. So I got my act together. I started a lot of it. Journaling has been hard for me, but I've always been super into YouTube self-development trainings or like YouTube business trainings. Recently I started watching more like sermons on YouTube, which I think is so, so cool because I don't have like a home church in Memphis. Because I haven't lived here that long. I just haven't found the right place for me, but it's super cool to me that you can watch a church service from literally anywhere in the country. Maybe it's like 5 years ago on YouTube. So that has been awesome for me. I try to watch one of those every single day, especially because Carrie Young watches like 3 a day. So now I'm like, okay, like I need to like really get on my act. But journaling was something that has always been super hard for me because it's so easy to listen to something while I'm driving or like while I'm getting ready, but like sitting down and being super intentional about what I'm putting on paper was hard. But as soon as I started doing it, in July was my first month of consistently doing it, and I needed one 30 BV order to promote the last day of the month. And I had not even texted this girl in like 2 months. She messaged me, signed up on the spot while I was at work at the preschool. And I was like, I am never not doing this again. Like, I had literally like written about it for the last week. I was like, I just need one more order, and it happened. So I was like, this stuff is legit.
That's awesome. And for me, I started journaling more intentionally within the last couple months, and just to keep continuing like to grow my mind and focus on like what I want and my desires. And I got like a couple helpful books, and I don't yeah.
And
My
we've both been doing Dream Life. Yeah.
Design Your Dream Life by
Mhm.
Denise Walsh. You guys, this is such a good book. It's like all like flagged and stuff, but literally like, and this is gonna sound crazy, but like I started it in September, and I like at the time like I was like my mindset wasn't all there. I was like not as happy with like where I was at, and like well like personally, business wise, I was like, I just turned 24, like, I don't know yet. And literally, in 2 months, it's definitely massively changed. I'm a lot happier. I have an awesome boyfriend that I think I literally had been manifesting positive relationships for 6 months. Like, literally, that was part of my manifesting, not business related at all, but I was applying it, the law of
Yeah.
attraction, in my life. And it happened. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. It works. And I sound crazy, but I was like, I think that definitely played a part in it, and it's definitely improved my business. And like, it's really fun because you get to like discover yourself every single day. You get to change it up. It's you, no one can judge the way you journal.
Yeah.
And it's also brought me closer to my faith too at the same time.
And I
um
think that's super important too. I'm glad that you mentioned that, like knowing that your self-development doesn't have to just be business trainings, like whether it's watching a sermon or like manifesting healthier relationships, a healthier lifestyle, whatever it is, like it doesn't have to be just business related, because the healthier you are, the healthier your business in every aspect of your life is going to be.
exactly, yeah. And I love that because it's like overall health and growth
Mm-hmm.
with all aspects of life, which is crazy. And like, I know that for me, like, the products have been a huge game changer in my health journey. And I know you're a huge skinny coffee person.
I love it.
Do you think using the products and sharing that and like sharing your results and everything, did you think that really helped your business, or did you always share and use the products, or when did you start doing that?
So honestly, I didn't even start sharing my results until like right at the beginning of July, when I started coming back strong. I didn't even realize how much weight I had lost. Um, like I never took an official before picture. So my before picture that I use and that I post everywhere is from last summer, which I may have even been heavier than that when I started this business. But I was just like, this is the best comparison I can get. Like, I'm in a swimsuit, it works. But yeah, I didn't even realize how much weight I had lost. And I was like, holy crap. So as soon as I saw that like side by side of last summer versus like a random picture I took this like, I guess this summer, I was like, everyone needs to know about this. It is insane. It makes me feel so good. And the fact that, I mean, now I can testify, like I literally deal with children nonstop all day, and it makes me not want to rip their heads off too early in the morning. So like, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I can feel. Mine's just in general. Mine's normally I'm chasing like Emmy around the house and
Yeah,
trying to
no,
like keep
literally.
sane. Yes, yes, fellow cat mom, love it. Alrighty. So then, what are your best tips for doing this business with a busy schedule or staying consistent every day?
Okay, for staying consistent, sorry, I'm like flipping through my notes.
Very good.
Focusing on your why. So when I joined, I knew I knew that I wanted to hit Ruby, but I didn't really know why I wanted to hit Ruby. I just knew, I was like, okay, this is $500 a month. Like that would cover all of my bills. Like I need to hit this, but I didn't have like an emotional attachment to it or like a strong tie to it. So it was easier for me to like kind of lose my way, especially once I was working full time at the preschool this summer. But like now, literally, I don't have a choice. Like my why is like, if I don't work, like the bills don't get paid, like homegirl loses her apartment, like not, so like I have to work. But then also like thinking forward, in May I graduate and have to like face the real world. And I have kind of been talking to Sasha for a while. I haven't really announced it like publicly or talked about it, but like I don't plan on teaching when I graduate. I plan on taking this full time because I have like other things on my heart. And so I know that like in order to be taken seriously by like not teaching, I can't be making $300 a month, like I have to be making a substantial income in order to like be like, yeah, like I got my degree and I said peace out, like we're not going back in the classroom. So like that's kind of on my heart. And then also just knowing like, what did I write down? Oh yeah, being super intentional, but like knowing why you're doing something, which is another thing I've been talking to like my girls about. So like when I say, oh, I need to sign 4 customers today, or I need to sign this volume, like why do you need to do that? What is that pushing you towards? Like Is it because you're this close to a fast start, or is it because you're going to put it under this leg and that's going to help you promote? Like being super, super intentional about everything you do. I feel like that just gives you more of an emotional tie to it, and then also is like making you manifest it even more.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, even if so, like that's awesome that you're thinking about doing this full time. That's so awesome. Well, you can join our wonderful full time rap girl life. But also, you'd be using your degree technically because teaching and coaching and mentoring a team
Exactly.
is using your degree. For me, I use all of my science knowledge and health knowledge because I have a double degree, marine science and biology, and I have psych. So, and I use psych as a part of my training every day too. So, for me, that's how I tap into it. And then of course I have plans down the line for other things once I pay off all of my student debt. But that's awesome that you're like thinking about that. And this will be so like easily like relatable to like things that you have experience into. So that's awesome. That'd be so
Yeah,
exciting.
and it's crazy how much like being in the classroom all day every day has taught me about like teaching my team. Like I think I talk about this all the time on like our weekly Zooms, but like I learned so much about like, oh yeah, like being there for them and like modeling. I talk about this all the time, like modeling how to be a good leader or how to enroll in LC or like journal or whatever. So yeah, I'm still using what I'm learning. It's just in a different way.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I feel like with this, we're constantly learning. We're constantly like I've been in 2 years and I learn something new every day. Like every time I have a new teammate, they teach me something when I'm training them. Like if depending on if they ask me a question or if they have suggestions, like, and I'm like, oh, I've never thought about that before. Thank you. Like, I'm literally like, oh my God, like, why haven't I thought about that? Or, every time you hop on a team call and like you're listening to a leader or anything like that, they say something and it just clicks and you're like, oh my gosh, why haven't I been using that? Or, they revamp social media in some way, shape, or form and make it 10 times awesomer, or they restrict us and then we have to figure out a way around it. But that's okay because, that's life. There's curveballs, there's trenches and tunnels and hills and mountains. You got to keep going and figure it out as you go. So that's awesome. That's awesome. What are hold on. I'm trying to figure out my questions here. What are 3 big things that are important in this business? Like 3, like the most important things, I think, apart to boost your business. I think that's what I meant
This
by that question.
took me so long to think about. I was literally like sitting right here earlier, like thinking, I was like, what do I think are the 3 most important things? And the first thing that I thought of, and it's something that I've had to work on a lot, and I know like I've said it to my girls a ton of times, but like as much as your leaders pour into you, or as much as your upline, or like as much as you learn from someone else, like they can't run your business for you. At the end of the day, you have to do it. You have to take what you've been given, and maybe like, I don't know if I said this, my enroller quit like 3 weeks into my business. So like maybe you haven't been given a lot and you've had to like kind of figure it out on your own, but whatever it is, like at the end of the day, this is your business and you have to run it, like, because no one can run it for you. The second thing, realize that you have a story and your story matters and it needs to be heard by someone, and maybe you don't even know who that person is. Maybe they don't follow you yet. Maybe they blocked you like I did to Sasha, because I blocked Sasha before I joined this business, but maybe you have no idea who they are, but your story matters, whether you're 1 week in or 1 year in. Literally, I started posting about my story the very first day in this business, and I don't know if that was necessarily the smartest decision, but I was like, that's what I saw my upline doing, so I was like, this is what we're doing, we're posting about it. And I basically shared my story, or tried to share my story as much as I can ever since, because I know that somewhere someone's going to connect to it, and people connect to your story. And then also like never stop asking questions, and know that it's okay, and not only okay but like good to fail, because that means you're growing. And like my goal every day is I'm like, I'm gonna fail as much as I possibly can, and then along the way maybe I'll get some wins in there. And just knowing that like failure's awesome, like it means that you're working and that you're growing and trying.
I love that. Yeah, failing forward is something that I definitely had to learn to adapt to because I've always been a perfectionist. I've always been like, I'm very type A. I'm very a green personality to like the highest extent green. And I want everything right. Everything has to be a set way. And I had to learn that when it didn't go my way, that it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that I would just keep trying or try a different way. And I'd figure it out, because failure is a sign of progress. And that was something that I definitely had to learn over time, because I didn't know that, it's part of life. We fail at things all the time. When you're learning how to ride a bike, you get on 2 seconds, you fall off. What do? We get back up. We try again. When you're learning to walk, when you're a kid, you stand up and fall over. You stand up, you fall over. You stand up, take a step, fall over. You try again. You keep going. Every little fall, every trip is a failure, but it's a sign of progress, because the point is, you get back up and you keep going and you keep trying and you believe in yourself and all that jazz. It's kind of a never ending circle. And like with this business is like, we talk about seed planting.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's seasons of planting seeds and there's seasons of harvest. And right now is it a perfect time for seed planting, especially with the new year coming upon us. You guys, if you're new to this business, you've been in a while, the new year is boom season. It is amazing. So all the seeds that you're planting every single day, whether it's a cold message or a poster posting or a new follower, anything like that, get them on your page, share about the product, share about the opportunity, because they're going to be watching you. And then when we have all the awesome things that are coming out, we have awesome things coming out the rest of the month, Cyber Monday, but probably next month too, because our company is amazing. And then they always come out with something huge at the beginning of the year, and then bonuses because there's conference. So Mark always launches something huge. You're gonna want to have huge lists. You're gonna want to have those seeds planted, because that's the time to harvest. And like, now is the time. So like, even if you aren't seeing like results right away, you're planting your garden. You're planting the seeds. You gotta plant and water, help them grow, be patient, love on them, nurture them, harvest them later. So it's like any type of garden. You gotta let them grow a little bit. You gotta water them every day. You gotta show the people the product results. You gotta show the people yourself using the products. You gotta share about the opportunity, the small wins, the big wins, the ups and downs. People want to know that you're a real person and you experience all the things of life, and laugh at yourself, because that's what makes it fun. Definitely had to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
What is your biggest advice for newbies?
Okay, I had to think on this one for a while too. So for any new person who has started this business, like my biggest piece of advice is to like celebrate the fact that you've already done the hardest part. You've already gotten started, whether you watched your upline for ages or you were like super nervous but signed up on the spot. Like, you already did the hard part, and now you just get to like roll in all of the amazing blessings that are coming your way, because this business carries so many blessings. And so like, know that you've already done the hard part, and like, you don't have to be fearful anymore. You don't have to be anxious, because like, it's okay to be nervous, but like, you've already done the hardest part, and just like go for it all the way, because you've already done like the hard part. So why would you hold yourself back from doing the rest of it and seeing the rewards from it?
I love that. And like, for anyone that is like newer on here, or you're watching this and you're new, like, your upline is like your key. And if your upline doesn't exist,
Go
sideline,
find another one.
they have an upline. Go like, and it'll literally tell you in your e-suite, like, your sponsor, your sponsor, sponsor, your sponsor,
Mm-hmm.
sponsor, sponsor. Like, find out like anyone, and like team pages, there's great ways to like make connections there too, which is amazing. And like, for me, like, this company is like a huge family. And the best part is like, I've been able to like meet top leaders or connect with them or be invited onto like a team training with them, or meet them in person at a conference or something like that, and they're just so humble and so nice and so eager to see you succeed. Sorry. And like, that's like the best part about it. and which is amazing. And like just know that like we're never alone in this business compared to like I know I've heard horror stories from other companies where like they basically help you sign up and then like you may not hear from them, or you aren't walked through things step by step. But like we're not like that, you know, and which is like super great at the same time too. um Anything else that you'd like to leave for like a last note or anything like that?
I think this just kind of goes along with it, but like go all in, like do your research, ask questions. Like if you can't find the answers, like your upline doesn't know, or like if your upline doesn't exist or you don't know who to go to YouTube, go to everyone in this should be in VIP Dream Team, right? Like VIP Dream Team, the units are insane. Literally, that's how I learned everything before Sasha found me and rescued me from like the depths of where I was. But yeah, like use what you're given and like just take off. Like this is yours, and it's awesome how much you can do with it. And don't ever lose sight of like who you are. Like don't compare yourself, because no one wants to join you because you act like Jess, or you act like Cassie, or you act like me, or you act like whoever your upline is. Like be you 100,000%, because that is how people are going to connect to you, and you're going to rock it.
Yes, I love that. And I feel like the comparison game is something that always tries to get us, you know, and just know that's like the worst thing that you could do in any aspect of your life is compare yourself, because everybody's journeys are different. Like you are you and no one else can be you. And like focus once you get your goggles on and you're focused on you, yourself, your business, your life, you know, anything that just with you, like, and you block everything out, like you'll just see like what you actually have, what you have, and accept what you have, be grateful for what you have, and then you'll be given more, which is like truly amazing. I absolutely love that. You guys, throw some love for Suzanna in our chat. You know, she took this last, you know, hour out of her night with us, and it's month end too, so I really appreciate that. And I honestly have huge takeaways from this, and I like learning from new people as well. Well, newer people. Not that you're super new, but I like hearing your aspect and how you work things too, because it's really refreshing and fires me up at the same time. But yeah, we really greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great rest of their night and month ends. I am going